waitress at the restaurant I worked at, her and her husband used them. And I remember thinking how cool they looked, because they're all kind of steampunk in these glass tanks, which for me was really appealing.
From the first puff, I thought, this is something that might work for me.
I had an e-cig that the Stop Smoking nurse had given me. I tried it a couple of times and I thought, yeah, this is all right. Because I think it was more the habit of the smoke and doing that I needed. So I thought, I'm going to get a real good go.
I think for me, transitioning from smoking to vaping was a kind of a natural thing, and it happened really without any effort on my part at all. And the reason for that, I think, is because it's actually a perfect replacement for smoking.
It felt like I was smoking. I was getting the nicotine that I was so used to all along. But of course now I don't have the negative health aspects of it. It's just, it seems to work.
The first lungful, it worked. It made sense. The sensation was similar, but the exhale was there, so I could see something coming out of my mouth, and it was cool and it was geeky. And I literally went back in the house and threw all my tobacco stuff in the bin.
I literally picked it up, started using it, thinking, oh yeah, I'll cut down, I'll get down to half with this, and got to the end of the day and thought, hang on a minute, I haven't smoked. It wasn't an intentional, I'm going to stop smoking. It was okay, this thing's going to help me reduce. But actually, it turned into a switch. It was, I don't need that anymore.
You get the benefits of smoking, so you get the action of smoking, you get the inhalation, the exhalation. You can choose what nicotine level that you want, you can choose what flavours you want.
And after a while, it's actually better than smoking. It tastes better. I mean, at the time I think I was vaping Juicy Peach. Why wouldn't it be?
You'll get a device, you'll get a liquid, you'll get a combination that kind of just makes you go, oh, hang on a minute, I quite like that.
Yeah, the e-cig juice I'm using today is 3 milligram nicotine, strawberries and cream.
There are so many different types of e-juices and strengths of e-juices. Anybody that's quitting smoking can get an e-cigarette, find a juice that makes them happy and stick with it.
I started on tobacco flavour when I first stopped smoking, and then it started to get a bit sickly, the taste. It was not very nice, but it helped at first when I stopped smoking because it was that tobacco. It was like a fag taste.
You've got people making these really complex flavours, so it's not just banana or just blueberry. It's like a whole pudding with custard and things. And once you start getting into that and seeing how much there is out there, it keeps your interest going.
You can get everything from chicken flavour, custard cream, to papaya and melon, and everything in between.
And the one that I've got in here at the moment is actually rhubarb crumble. You couldn't actually pay me to eat rhubarb, but this is one of my favourite flavours.
And you don't have to be expensive. Some of the liquids are £1 a bottle. They're the cheapest chips.
I only have one flavour and I love that flavour. It's like lemon and lime, but I love it. I don't like any other flavour.
As I've continued to use the e-cigarette, I find that I don't need the strength of nicotine that I started with. It gradually gets lower and lower.
Most smokers now start at 18 milligrams per millilitre. A lot of people find that goes down and you end up using less nicotine because I don't know if you don't need it so much anymore, but it's really quite common to find yourself reducing your nicotine without even realising that you actually are.
I don't get nicotine withdrawals now. I could go 12 hours without my e-cig, whereas before when I was smoking, I couldn't go an hour without, I'd be pulling my hair out, you know what I mean? One of them ones.
With vaping, I don't have that same sense of anxiousness and fear about not having it. It's not a major panic. If I leave the house without it, I don't have to turn back and I'm not going to buy something else whilst I'm out. I enjoy it as much, I probably enjoy it more in terms of a habit. But in terms of needing it in the same way, I don't need it in the same way.
If I could give some advice to smokers, what it would be to try vaping and find vapors. They're all over the place, they're online, they're everywhere, and if there's one thing that they like to do, it's to talk about vaping.
Don't be scared off by the stuff that you read in the media. Don't be scared off by all your other quit attempts, which are stressful and upsetting and all of that stuff. Vaping's fun, and it's meant to be fun, and you can enjoy it.
E-cigs are the best thing that I've ever discovered. If you struggle quitting with patches and tablets, try e-cigs. So I tried them and changed my life.
I'm a non-smoker now and I'll never turn back.
I feel quite proud of myself now. I'm not beating myself up because I don't smoke anymore, and I'm very confident about the future now.
If you can switch, you've beaten it.
Sorry, I saw that. I had to throw it on. That was killer. Wicked movie. And plus, apparently I just needed a sandwich. So I'm not sure if I lost everybody, but I'm just going to keep going for a little bit anyway. A little bit anyway. Maybe do some videos or something, I don't know. But I had another idea, and what I'm going to do is, I think we should do it. I'm going to get nominated by you, a person each week that's done something good for advocacy, or put in a lot of work, or you know, run the gauntlet or whatever else. This week, I think unequivocally goes to Wendy from Stinky Canuck, and I think she should be the first one. I think we'll make Wendy the honorary first winner of the You Rock Award from the Airtime Live show. Because you know what, nobody there's never enough appreciation, I think, or acknowledgement, and I think it's just a nice thing to do. So I'm going to do something like that, I think. Hope it doesn't sound too cheesy. I think that movie made me a little sappy. All right, I'm done. I'm going to go work on that award. Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.